This is Land of Havilah, Jeremiah 35. It's a wonderful story. Verse 1. The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahweh in the days of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, king of Judah, saying, Go to the house of the Rechabites and speak to them, and bring them into Yahweh's house, into one of the rooms, and give them wine to drink. Then I took Jaazaniah the son of Jeremiah, the son of Habazaniah, with his brothers, all his sons, and the whole house of the Rechabites, and I brought them into Yahweh's house, into the room of the sons of Hanan, the son of Igdaliah, the man of God, which was by the room of the princes, which was above the room of Maaseiah the son of Shallum, the keeper of the threshold. I set before the sons of the house of the Rechabites bowls full of wine and cups, and I said to them, Drink wine. But they said, We will drink no wine, for Jonadab the son of Rechab, our father, commanded us, saying, You shall drink no wine, neither you nor your sons forever. You shall not build a house, sow seed, plant a vineyard, or have any, but all your days you shall dwell in tents, that you may live many days in the land in which you live as nomads. We have obeyed the voice of Jonadab the son of Rechab, our father, and all that he commanded us, to drink no wine all our days, we, our wives, our sons, and our daughters, and not to build houses for ourselves to dwell in. We have no vineyard, field, or seed, but we've lived in tents and have obeyed and done according to all that Jonadab our father commanded us. But when Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up into the land, we said, Come, let's go to Jerusalem, for fear of the army of the Chaldeans, and for fear of the army of the Syrians, so we'll dwell at Jerusalem. Comment in verse 1, the text is backing up in time to the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah. Specifically in verse 11, this was during Nebuchadnezzar's first or second incursion into the land. In verse 2, Yahweh told Jeremiah, Go to the family of the Rechabites. In verses 10 and 11, the Rechabites ordinarily live in the countryside in tents, but for the moment they've taken refuge in Jerusalem because Nebuchadnezzar's army is roaming the land. In verses 2 and 3, at Yahweh's command, Jeremiah brought all the men of the family to the temple complex. In verse 4, he took them to a certain upper room in one of the ancillary buildings that served as offices or living quarters for the priests. In verse 5, as Yahweh commanded him, he set wine before them and invited them to drink. It was an awkward situation because Jeremiah was a priest. They were nomads. There was a social gap between them, and the invitation was most unusual. We can see them looking around at each other and wondering what was going on. But in verses 6 to 10, they weren't intimidated. They said, We will not drink wine because our ancestor Jonadab commanded his sons, our ancestors, You shall drink no wine, neither you nor your sons forever. Furthermore, he said, You shall not build a house, sow seed, plant a vineyard, or have any, but all your days you shall dwell in tents, that you may live many days in the land as nomads. So according to the command, they didn't drink wine, farm, own homes or vineyards, didn't settle in one place, but were nomads. Their ancestor Jonadab, who issued the command, lived about 300 years previously in the northern kingdom, 2 Kings 10:15. About 200 years afterwards, the Assyrians took the northern kingdom captive, but the family obviously escaped, we assume because they were mobile. The same mobility is keeping them safe from Nebuchadnezzar to this day. It points up the reason Jonadab gave the command in the first place in verse 7, that his family might, quote, live many days in the land. In Exodus 20, verse 12, God said, Honor your father and mother. There was a promise attached to it, quote, that you may live long in the land, end quote. So why did Yahweh point the Rechabites out to Jeremiah? Verse 12. Then Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah, saying, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, Go and tell the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, Will you not receive instruction to listen to my words, says Yahweh? The words of Jonadab the son of Rechab, that he commanded his sons not to drink wine, are performed, and to this day they drink none, for they obey their father's commandment. But I've spoken to you, rising up early and speaking, and you've not listened to me. I've sent also to you all my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, saying, Every one of you must return now from his evil way. amend your doings and don't go after other gods to serve them. Then you'll dwell in the land which I've given to you and to your fathers, but you've not inclined your ear nor listened to me. The sons of Jonadab, the son of Rechab, have performed the commandment of their father, which he commanded them, but this people has not listened to me. Comment in verse 13, Jeremiah is to say to the people, will you not listen, says Yahweh. In verses 14 to 16, the Rechabites received a command from their ancestor 300 years ago and still keep it. They don't need any reminders, but I, Yahweh, continually warn you to repent through my prophets, and you don't listen. The Rechabites put you to shame. Verse 17, therefore Yahweh, the God of armies, the God of Israel, says, behold, I'll bring on Judah and on all the inhabitants of Jerusalem all the evil that I've pronounced against them, because I have spoken to them, but they have not heard, and I've called to them, but they have not answered. Comment in verse 17, Yahweh will bring all the evil on Judah he's been warning them about, because they don't listen. But as for the Rechabite family, verse 18, Jeremiah said to the house of the Rechabites, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, because you have obeyed the commandment of Jonadab your father and kept all his precepts and done according to all that he commanded you, therefore Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, Jonadab the son of Rechab will not lack a man to stand before me forever. Comment, the Rechabites will not lack a man to stand before Yahweh forever. Jeremiah 36 is next.